The chocolate chip cookie. There are many recipes out there, but there is one particular recipe that set the standard. And yes, Toll House is the original chocolate chip cookie. Over 80 years old, it has stood the test of time. So we have put together a two-part episode to have a close look at the Toll House cookie and compare it to a brown butter recipe using Ghirardelli semi-sweet chocolate chips. So let's dive right into this. Toll House versus Ghirardelli brown butter.
To make brown butter, the first step is to get 2 sticks, 1 cup coarsely chopped up with a butter knife. We get a medium saucepan on medium heat, preferably a little bit lower than medium heat, and I'd prefer to not preheat this. I just throw the butter in right away and let it melt and go liquid as the pan comes up to temp. You'll see these cubes disintegrate into liquid. You want to keep this moving occasionally, and bubbling will start gradually at first, and that's all the water evaporating out of the butter. You want to keep this stirred every 30 seconds or so, just to stop burning. If it seems like there's still quite a bit of butter not melted and things are turning brown a bit, you definitely have too much heat. Keep stirring that butter as it melts down. As the water evaporates, the bubbles will get smaller and start foaming. And that's when you really need to be concerned about stirring, because the butter will start browning very quickly. Tilt the pan to the side to get it checked. You'll see underneath the foam of the butter, the brown solids. And once you hit a kind of amber or lager dark beer color, it's ready to pull off. Always a good idea to go by the smell. Once that's off, take it off the heat, immediately transfer it to a bowl. Let it cool on a countertop before wrapping up with saran wrap if it's going into the fridge, or just leave it out for use in 2 to 3 hours when it will solidify. We're gonna get started by mixing up our wet ingredients, starting with our chilled, solidified brown butter we made earlier. The easiest way to get this out of a bowl is something like a spatula, frosting scraper. Just go around the edge, scrape that out, get it in here. It smells almost like caramel or toffee, adds a ton of flavor. Once we get that in our bowl, the next step is to get this blended up. We're gonna use a hand mixer today. As you can see, we start on a low speed to get it combined, gradually raising the speed to mix in some air. We get the browned solids mixed back in with the fats. Give this a good scrape, and we'll add our sugar. 1 cup dark brown sugar. Always prefer to use fresh whenever possible. More moist, less clumps. And then we are going to do a 1/2 cup of ultrafine baker's sugar. And that ratio of a little more brown sugar is going to make it a little richer, a little darker flavor, and a little more chewy, less crispy. That's a good balance. We're gonna pack in the brown sugar. Knife here. Half cup white sugar. Before we get that mixed in, we're gonna get the rest of our wet ingredients prepped. 2 tablespoons whole milk, 2 teaspoons vanilla extract, 1 egg, 1 egg yolk. Go to yolk, 1 egg, and 2 teaspoons, some high quality vanilla extract. And because we have browned the butter, we've removed quite a bit of moisture from that. So to make up for it, we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of milk. Have that ready to go. And one of the keys to really good cookies of any sort, especially chocolate chip cookies, is really working your wet mixture and creaming the butter and sugar. So we're gonna mix this for another 3-4 minutes. And then once we add the egg vanilla mixture, another 2 minutes. It'll be light, airy, whipped up. And then once we add our flour and other dry ingredients, we'll just barely get that incorporated, and it'll make the perfect chocolate chip cookie. As necessary, scrape down the sides. Another minute, and we'll add the eggs. One final scrape down, get everything combined. All right, now we are ready for our dry ingredients. So for the dry ingredients, we're gonna have 2.5 cups all-purpose flour, a teaspoon of fresh baking soda. This stuff really only lasts like 3 to 6 months, so it really helps to use some fresh, get that proper texture and rise out of your cookie. And we are also gonna put a 1/2 teaspoon of salt in there. We'll start with our flour. Don't pack it in there, just gently scoop it out or spoon it into your cup, level it off. Sieve, second one here. Get all the clumps out. Nice and poofy. Make sure our cookies are clumpy. About 1/2 teaspoon of salt. 2 teaspoons baking soda. Sorry, 2 teaspoons baking powder. If you were to use baking soda, you'd only use 1, but the 2 teaspoons of baking powder adds the same amount of leavening, a little more flavor. And we'll just take a quick whisk to get this combined. All right, now we're ready to bring it all together. We're gonna do these in 2-3 steps. Just pour into our main bowl here, kind of spread it out about half. And we're gonna do this minimal amount of mixing. Have a spatula nearby. You see there's still a bit of flour in there, and we'll just finish it off with the spatula. Scrape the sides, fold it over. Make sure you don't have a bunch of flour sitting on the bottom. Get it all mixed in. It doesn't need to be perfect yet because we're still gonna mix in chocolate chips and walnuts. Now that we have everything combined, it really very heavy aromas, kind of toffee, vanilla, incredible. So next up, we're gonna weigh out or measure out 2 cups semi-sweet chocolate. I'm a high quality. If you like Ghirardelli. 1, 2. So we get cup of our walnuts all chopped up. Add those in. Just gonna go in by hand to get this mixed in. Before we get this scooped out and ready to chill, I like to get it back in the fridge at least 30 minutes to ½ hour. Makes the scooping and the portioning much easier and gives us some time to get everything cleaned up. Next up, we're gonna scoop the dough. It's been chilling for about 30, 45 minutes. And we're gonna use an ice cream scooper for consistency. And in this particular recipe, it yields just a perfect size, beautiful cookie. Got a bit of thickness to it, perfect size for Dunkin'. These are a nut-free version, but see here, just perfect. And the goal here is to let them rest for 3 or 4 hours. That really helps the dough hydrate and solidify so when they bake, they don't flatten out. It gives it a much better texture. So let's get set up over here and get started scooping. And it should be noted, we're not gonna bake them laid out like this. This is just for cooling, probably do half at a time. After we do 1 or 2 pieces as a test bake, just to confirm time and temp is looking good. So we're just gonna put these in the fridge for about 3 hours. So I'm not gonna bother covering them. If you're gonna do it overnight, I recommend some saran wrap, tin foil, even a sealed container. So we got 17 of them here. Gives us a couple for a test bake, and then 8 on each tray when we bake them. Be perfect. We got a couple test bakes out of our brown butter chocolate chip cookies. Took about 14 minutes, also 375. So what we're gonna do to finish these off is just press them down, just to make a flatter, more even cookie, and sprinkle them with a little bit of finishing salt, kosher salt. So come over here, just a real light press. Like that. A little bit of salt on each one. Not too much. See over here what happens if you don't press down. You get more of a mound. You'll have a cakier, doughier inside if that's your thing. It's a good move. And this just creates a more even cookie. That's the kind of texture we're looking for. Nice cracks in the top. We'll get this in the oven, 375, 14 minutes. Set it for 12, 13. Keep an eye on it. All right, these have been in for about 14 and a half minutes. Nice and golden brown. Still be a little soft in the middle. Perfect. Like before, let these cool 5 minutes or so. We'll transfer to a rack. Over here we have our brown butter, a little more luxurious cookie, baked perfectly. Walnuts and chocolate all kind of chunky in there. And then the classic Toll House gets a little bit thinner. These are actually much less dough to make that cookie, even though they're about the same size. Crispy on the outside, chewy on the inside. This is gonna be a little more cakey, but has like a nice crispy crust on the exterior. We'll crack this guy open. They've cooled a bit, but they're still nice and moist on the inside. You can mix that. And then this Toll House, same thing, a little chewier, kind of feel that. But the main difference is the flavor of the brown butter. Much more toffee, much richer, delicious.
When it comes to chocolate chip cookies, Toll House holds the throne. We can pull out all the stops: shards of dark chocolate blended with chips, ratio of egg to yolk, dark brown sugar versus light brown sugar, top the cookie with sea salt, the list goes on. But will you achieve something better? I don't think so, just different. Is there a clear winner here? Is there even a competition? Well, I do know this: the milk wins every time.